Jungkook's behavior is under the spotlight worldwide. What's behind his attitude? Hello fans, welcome back to my channel K-pop Idol. He was once just a boy from Busan with a dream, but today, his name echoes around the world. Jungkook. A voice that moved millions. A face recognized in every corner of the earth. But something has changed. The laughter isn't as loud. The smile doesn't last as long. The world is watching. And everyone is asking the same question: what's going on with Jungkook? A rising star, burning bright. Jungkook's journey started as a trainee, at just 13 years old. He grew up in studios, under fluorescent lights, in front of mirrors, chasing perfection. While his friends in Busan were enjoying their teenage years, Jungkook was learning how to become the Golden Magne, a title that would carry both glory and weight. Every award, every stage, every tear of joy, was earned through sweat, discipline, and a quiet kind of loneliness that few can imagine. But over time, the pressure to remain perfect became invisible chains. Chains that began tightening, one small link at a time. When the lights dim. In recent months, fans noticed a shift. Fewer live streams. Less interaction on Weverse. A quieter tone. A gaze that sometimes looked empty. During a birthday live, he barely spoke. He just stared at the screen, eyes drifting away, lost in thought. Some fans found comfort in the quietness. Others felt uneasy. Why does he seem so distant? He looks tired. Like really tired. Is he okay? The silence grew louder than words. And soon, the headlines began. Media frenzy and fan theories. The Korean media began publishing speculative stories. Some praised his maturity. Others hinted at emotional distress. One article from Dispatch read, "Jungkook appears withdrawn, are there problems behind the scenes?" Netizens lit up online platforms. Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, the KPOP, all flooded with theories. Some said he was preparing for a huge comeback. Others feared the worst. Burnout. Agency conflict. A secret heartbreak. Or perhaps, he simply needed rest. But it wasn't just silence that raised questions, it was how he behaved in public. The look in his eyes. When Jungkook walked through airports, his eyes were focused, serious, almost like a man on a mission. Not the playful, wide-eyed Magne we all knew. But a more reserved, even guarded version of himself. In one video, he passed by dozens of cameras without lifting his head. In another, he sat silently while his fellow BTS members spoke. His silence wasn't cold. It was deep. As if he were carrying a story too heavy to tell. BTS members showing support. Despite the noise, one thing remained certain: his brothers were watching over him. Jimin once whispered to him during a live, "You don't have to say everything. Just being here is enough." Taeyong posted a late-night message, "Sometimes we're silent because we're healing." Even Namjoon knew, when silence speaks louder than words. In an interview that now feels like a whisper from the deepest part of the heart, Namjoon once quietly said, "Each of us carries different weights. And sometimes, we just need space." Such simple words, but so heavy. So full of meaning. They reflect something perhaps unspoken, yet clearly felt in every moment shared between BTS, especially Jungkook. Maybe we forget that even the brightest smile can hide the deepest wounds. They, the BTS members, often show affection to one another. But when we see them holding Jungkook's hand, looking at him with more tender eyes, or standing a little closer when the cameras flash, we begin to understand. That wasn't just affection. That was armor. A silent, yet strong shield. A quiet protection from a world that stares too hard, expects too much, and forgets too easily that Jungkook is human too. Theories, truth, and the unknown. What's really happening? We may never know for sure. But these theories didn't appear out of thin air. 1. Burnout from overachievement. Jungkook isn't just an idol. He's a symbol of relentless hard work. From his teenage years, he stood on global stages, dancing, singing, giving everything. But behind every victory, there's sacrifice. And now, many believe he might be experiencing burnout, physically, emotionally, even spiritually. 2. Agency restrictions and creative frustration. Some fans believe Jungkook wants to express himself more freely as an artist. He wants to create, to write, to sing with no limits. But maybe contracts and agency rules are holding him back. Like a bird that cannot fly freely in the sky of his own creativity. 3. Military service pressure. Even though he's serving, being both a soldier and a superstar may be pulling him in opposite directions, trapping him in between two lives. 4. Heartbreak or emotional pain. Others believe there's a personal pain behind the silence. A love lost. A secret relationship that ended. And when everything ends in silence, only loneliness remains. 5. Existential questioning. And perhaps, the deepest theory is this, a search for identity. Who am I, if I'm not Jungkook from BTS? This isn't just a passing thought. It's an existential question, one that can shake the soul of anyone who asks it. Are these all true? No one knows. But one thing is certain. The world celebrates the light but forgets the shadow. Moments that broke us. We've seen Jungkook cry before. On stage. At award shows. Behind the scenes. But those were tears we could witness. This time, they're not. These are not tears shed under bright lights. Not on stage. But in the quietest places, within himself. And maybe that's what hurts the most. To know that someone who gave so much joy and laughter to the world may be crying alone. In silence. With no voice. With no embrace. The ARMY response. But ARMY didn't stay silent. When Jungkook chose silence, ARMY spoke with their hearts. Thousands of letters were written. Fan art was created with love. Donations were made in his name to mental health organizations. Hashtags like #hashtag we love you Jungkook. #hashtag your silence speaks. #hashtag come back stronger JK. Trended worldwide, speaking louder than any words. One viral fan video ends with a message that shakes the soul. Jungkook, if you feel alone, remember, millions of hearts beat with yours. In your quietest moment, we're still listening. What if? But what if this silence isn't about pain? What if it's not a sign of crisis, but a sign of transformation? What if Jungkook is changing? Not because he's lost, but because he's finally found the courage to evolve. Like a caterpillar in its cocoon, not dead, but preparing to emerge as a butterfly. Maybe this is the time Jungkook is shedding his old skin, leaving behind the image of the perfect idol the world demanded, to become the man he truly wants to be. A message to Jungkook. To Jungkook, if you're listening, you don't owe us perfection. You don't have to shine every day. We loved you when you danced in the rain. And we'll still love you, even if you choose to walk alone for a while. Rest. Heal. And when you're ready to return, come back not as a flawless idol, but as a man finally free to be himself. Because sometimes, silence is not emptiness. It's a sacred space, where the soul whispers its truest truths. We see you, Jungkook. In your silence, in your healing, in your becoming. And we love you, not because you're perfect, but because you're real.